Florida State has got a lot of returning starters on both sides of the ball, especially at skill positions, quarterback, defensive players, however you want to figure it, 10 or 11 guys coming back on defense, which was one of the top defenses in the country a year ago. You know, I think both of these teams probably are going to be well prepared to play this game. I know our guys have done a really good job in preparation for this game. We're pleased with the progress that we've been able to make with a lot of players, and we've had a couple good days of work in Florida State prep, which we will continue today. Each player kind of knows what their job is, what the challenges are, and I think each player knows that the player he's playing against is a really good player, and he's going to know his number too, and I think that's what makes it a great challenge and a great opportunity, you know, for our team. I think this is going to a game that's going to come down to who can play with the most discipline and execute for 60 minutes in the game. That's how a lot of first games are. Who's going to make the most mental errors, who's going to take care of the ball the best. So this is always the challenge in an opening game. You know, the Raekwon Davis situation, we're still gathering information. Doesn't seem like our players were guilty of anything other than being out late, which doesn't make me happy, but it is what it is. And he has released from the hospital. He's here. He's getting treatment. He'll be day-to-day. We're still gathering information, and what his status is moving forward will be a medical decision, not something that we can really, you know, comment on, you know, here right now. Yep.
Start on the left side with John Zener.
I know we kind of ask you this every year, but could you talk about, there's such a high-risk, high-reward game from outsider perspective, but such a challenging game. What are the benefits that make this something you guys do every year?
Well, I've said this many times before. I like the early season challenges certainly help your off-season preparation, off-season program, spring practice, summer conditioning, fall camp. Players are really looking forward to playing against a really good opponent and challenge themselves to try to get put themselves in the best position to be able to have success against, you know, a very good team. So all those things are benefits. I think the second thing is it shows you where your team is. You know, you could really play a lesser opponent, not play really well, not really find out exactly where you are and who you are and what you need to do to fix it, where when you play a challenging team, I think you find out most of those things about your team in terms of their ability to execute, their psychological disposition. From a competition standpoint, there's a lot of things that you find out early on, and you certainly know what you need to go to work on and fix, you know, win, lose, or draw. So I think those are the basic, you know, advantages of, you know, this. And it's a lot of exposure, you know, to the program, and I think that's always good.
Back with Cecil.
Coach, you have several players from the Houston area, Jalen and some others, and have they been able to be in touch with their families? Do you know what their situations are? Right.
As of right now, all of our coaches have been in touch with their families and the players, so that if anybody's having any issues and we can be of any assistance, you know, to them, we've certainly let them know that, you know, we're here to try to help in any way that we can. We want our players to feel comfortable that their family's not in any danger or in harm's way. And to this point, we don't have any significant issues that we have to report.
Come back over here on the right with Chandler.
On Josh Jacobs and his status for the game Saturday?
Right, he's still day-to-day, still rehabbing. You know, we probably won't be able to make that call until midweek, and that's about as much as I can tell you about it right now.
Back and left with Tony Barnhart.
Coach, you've always believed that a team should learn what they learned from the previous season, close the book, turn the page, and move on to the next season. Based on what you've seen so far in practice, has this team done that? Are they learning the lessons that you'd hope would learn, and they've now moved on?
Well, I think that, you probably really don't know the answer for sure to that question until you actually play. But I do feel like the way the players have gone about it, they seem to have learned some lessons. They seem to be going about things the right way. But this is a completely different team. You know, we have a completely different team. So the identity of this team is going to get created by what this team does, not what happened last year, not what happened on the last play of the game. None of that's going to matter to how this team sort of develops their identity and their ability to conquer adversity. You know, to conquer adversity, and you're going to have to do that against any great competitor, you got to first conquer yourself, and you got to be confident that you can overcome the adversity before you ever get there because you're well prepared, you have confidence, you have experience. So this is going to be with a lot of new faces, especially on defense. It'll be interesting to see how those players respond to their new role. Same thing when it comes to leadership. It's a new role for some players. How are they going to respond? But it's your ability to overcome adversity that makes you a great competitor. And I think conquering those things first come from within you, and I don't think that's very easily recognized until you see it in a competitive situation.
Go in the middle here with Michael.
What makes Derwin James special, and how does a safety like that cause problems for offense?
Well, I mean, the guy's obviously a great player. I just saw him a little bit because he didn't play much last year. So in a lot of the films that we watched in preparation, he's not necessarily in there. But I think a safety, and we've had some really good ones here, and I think he's every bit as good as anybody that we've ever played against. You know, you're in the mix of a lot of plays because you line up somewhere, you know, near the formation, whether you're coming down in the box or whether you're playing split safeties. And this guy's just a very aggressive player. He's got good ball skills. He's a good tackler. He's a very physical player. He's a good blitzer. So, you know, just all around really, really good football player. And I think when you have really good safeties, they can minimize the number of big plays that you ever give up because a lot of times they're in position to stop the ball when it breaks the line of scrimmage, and he's certainly good at doing that.
Come back up here with Mark.
Trayvon Diggs developed throughout camp, and what are you seeing that makes you comfortable putting him out there at cornerback?
Well, I think Trayvon has worked really, really hard to improve, pay attention to detail, improve his techniques, improve his understanding of the defense. So I think this is one of those situations where we have confidence in the player, but until a player goes out there and gets confidence himself in terms of what he does, that's what I'm talking about. Is he well prepared? Is he going to go out there and be able to execute this in a game, stay focused, look at the right things, key the right things, have the right eye control, put himself in the right position? Levi Wallace has provided some competition at the position, and that's always welcome when you have lots of competition.
Down here in the front with Dwayne.
Coach, you opened up talking about Raekwon and saying that the players aren't guilty of anything but being out late. Are you concerned though with your players' safety though, being out in those type of situations?
I'm concerned about our players all the time, and you know, nothing good ever happens after midnight. Nothing good ever happens after 3 drinks. I mean, you got all these talks that you give and constantly talk about how important it is to recover and get rest. And I'm always concerned about our players being out, where they're out, who they're with, who's the alpha dog that provided the leadership to not get out of that situation somewhere earlier in the evening where it would have never happened. So I'm always concerned about player safety. I'm very concerned about this player's safety. I'm very concerned about this player's well-being and getting healthy and in the future. So, but if they'd have followed my advice, they wouldn't have been there. So.
Go here in the middle with Taryn.
Hi, Coach. How have you seen the passing game advance, whether it's on the wide receivers end or even Jalen's or the quarterbacks?
I think the quarterbacks have done a nice job. I think Brian's done a nice job of developing our quarterbacks in that part of it. I think systematically, receivers and quarterbacks have a good understanding of what they need to do. Can we continue to improve? You know, other than Calvin Ridley, we don't have a lot of experience at that position. We have some good young players who've provided a lot of competition that I think can help us this year. So their development is really important. But I think the accuracy, the decision-making, processing have all gotten better. We still have to improve on route running, protection, consistency, and accuracy. You know, those things I don't know if you ever get satisfied with as coaches, but we're going to continue to work on those things. But I think we have made a lot of progress in that area.
In the middle with Alex.
We've heard about some of the stories, the back and forth between you and Jimbo at practice. Apparently, there were some times when they would get heated. Do you have any good stories that you might remember with that? And what do you get out of that when you're in the thick of it at practice, when you're going against your offensive coordinator?
Well, I don't really go against our offensive coordinator. You know, I'm for Alabama. I'm for our team. I coach defensive players because that's my background. That's what I have the most experience in, special teams and defense. But I don't root for the defense. There's a difference in that. I root for our team. I like to see our offense make good plays. I like to acknowledge the offense when they make good plays. But I do think that we've had coaches on staff that are very, very competitive, and that's one of the good things about a coordinator, that they're very competitive, and Jimbo was very, very competitive. That's why he was always on my noontime basketball league. Could shoot threes, and he was very competitive. You know, he wanted to have success, and he wanted to build confidence, you know, in the offense, in the system that we ran. And I guess the one story that I could tell you is we're having team run, and you know, they're running zone read options and all that kind of stuff. And so all of a sudden we started running kind of RPOs during team run when I'm worried about, you know, can we block them? Can we take on blocks? Can we control blockers? And the ball comes spitting out of there. And I can remember that's one time that I threw a Nick fit, if you want to call it that.
Go in the back with Scott.
Staying with that theme, Jimbo told me last week it was not an adjustment for him coaching under you like a lot of assistants with your work ethic, because his dad, you were a lot like his dad. Kind of talk about that West Virginia work ethic, and then also, do you think he resembles running a program as closely to you as maybe some of your other guys?
Well, I can't really answer the second part of that. I know that probably of all the assistants that have gone on and have had whatever amount of success, you know, Jimbo and I were probably as close as any of them in terms of philosophy of how we did things, and how he did things, and how he liked to do things. And he's a hard worker, pays attention to detail, discipline-oriented in terms of how he thinks players should play, very aggressive in the way he coaches players to do the things that they want to do that he would like for them to do so that they can have a better chance to be successful. So there was a lot of similarities, I think, philosophically and personality-wise in terms of how we went about things. Now, how he chooses to run his program now, I'm not 100% aware of, but I think the reflection of how they play on the field, a very physical team, play with a lot of effort, a lot of toughness. You know, I think those are the things that you want, or that I would want our team to reflect in terms of how they play, effort, mental and physical toughness, ability to execute, discipline, those types of things. I think his team reflects that. So however they go about it, I think philosophically there's a lot of similarities. And, you know, Jimbo was always, in my mind, one of the best play callers, one of the best assistant coaches relating to players, teachers that we've ever had on any of our staffs, and certainly appreciate the great work that he did for us.
Okay, we're going to wrap up in the back with Joe.
Hey, Coach. Teams always talk about treating every single game in the schedule the same.
You've coached in so many games that have drawn a lot of national attention and interest. When you operate in that plane for as long as you have, is there ever a point where it starts to feel normal?
What feel normal? That
guess-
every game is a big game. I mean, it's always been that way for me. I mean, I've given this speech many, many times. You know, I don't work in the media right now. I work with our team to try to get them better and to play to the best standard that they can play to in every game they play, regardless of who the opponent is. So every game is a big game to me. Maybe psychologically, maybe national interest, maybe externally, maybe it doesn't seem to be as big, but internally, to us, our coaches, our players, and sometimes our people get affected by those external factors, but we try not to allow people to be affected by that so they can continue to grow, continue to improve, continue to get better. Look, it's a long season. You know, we're going to have 12, 13, 14 games and maybe 15, I don't know, but you know, what happens in the first game is certainly important. But we're going to have lots of press conferences in this room, and you're going to ask me the same question when we play the next big game. But the only difference is the next game that we play is going to be the biggest game for me, and it will always be that way. And I think when it isn't that way, I think you're going to see a very inconsistent team in terms of how they play relative to the level of competition. If your goal is to be the best that you can be, individually, personally, or as a team, or as a unit, then why does the guy you're playing against determine the level that you play? Why does the scoreboard determine the level that you play? So I understand from a media standpoint, from a fan standpoint, there's certainly more interest in some games than others, but internally to what we're trying to grow as a team, that really doesn't exist. Thank you.
Checking. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay.
mic him up. How you doing?
Yeah.
Bradley, Coach talked about these big season openers sort of motivating off-season workouts. Obviously, you played in a few big season openers. Do you feel like that has an effect, even going back to the summer and obviously fall camp, that you guys know who your week one opponent is? Does it motivate you guys a little bit more through those workouts?
You know, we're at Alabama. We're about ourselves. You know, we're about making ourselves better. Don't play up or down to your competition. Play to the best of your ability. So, you know, for us, it's just another year of just preparation and, you know, just trying to get better than we were the year before. So.
You guys always talk about treating every single game the same, but you play in so many big ones. I'm sure when you first get to a program like this out of high school, those first one or two have to be a little bit insane. But at what point does this start to become normal?
You know, once yeah, you're right. You know, when I was a freshman, my eyes were like that. You know, they're just bright-eyed about it, and you know, it's really exciting. But once you kind of get in the routine of it, and you know, you're playing big opponents each week, so you know, you kind of get used to it and kind of get into the groove and figuring out how to, you know, take care of your body and prepare for the game coming up. So.
You got new pieces along that offensive line. How have you guys come together, and does it feel like everyone's gelling together now?
Yeah, you know, everybody's having good chemistry together. We're still working different combinations. We're trying to figure out the exact right fit. And you know, it's no one's spot's still safe. You know, we're trying to figure out the best combination.
What have you seen from Florida State's defense?
You know, they're strong, they're explosive, they're powerful. They're a good defense. We're definitely have to bring our A game.
At this point, just how excited are you to hit somebody in a different color jersey?
Yeah, it's unreal. You know, we've been going against each other for 4 or 5 weeks now, and you know, we're ready. So.
You guys on the roster are big boys, you know, but when you see a situation like what has happened with Raekwon Davis, and Coach talks about, you know, giving advice, not being out late and stuff like that, how much do you take that all into account, or do you just try to do the best you can under any circumstance?
I mean, you need to be aware of your situation that you're in. You know, even not just us, you know, that anybody in general. You need to know what's going on around you, because I mean, that could happen to anyone in this room right now. But you know, it's definitely, you know, you need to know your surroundings and what's going on, and just, you know, try to make good decisions based on those surroundings. So.
Couple more. Bradley, who's the funniest person on the team?
The funniest person on the team. We got a bunch of them. We actually, Raekwon's pretty good character herself. Let's see, Mac Jones. Let's see, Dallas Warmack. You know, there's a couple clowns.
I think the perception is with this program that it's a business thing, but along that same lines, developing relationships and chemistry and enjoying one another. How important is that to success?
I mean, it's great. You know, we're a family. We're here 8 hours out of the day. We you know, we're close knit. You know, this team is just like this. You know, we all have each other's backs, and you know, no matter what happens. So.
I think as a defensive back, you look at a guy like Derwin. What do you appreciate about his game? What makes him such a good player?
I think he's a bigger guy. He kind of reminds me of Ronnie Harrison. They play the same type of game. They're big guys that could cover well. They like to make big hits, come down, fill the gaps in the front, stuff like that, and it's physical.
Mika, how has Trayvon Diggs progressed at the cornerback position?
He's progressed a whole lot. I mean, he still has a lot to work on, but he's gotten a whole lot better since the spring, since he's been playing there. And you know, we're working on him. He's a project for us, and we've just been working on him.
What does he bring to that position that makes him sort of special to kind of earn that spot?
He brings a couple different things. He's long. He's about 6'1", 6'2", real long arms. He plays with pretty good technique for somebody who's just been started a position. You know, he's a younger guy, so you could kind of mold him and shape him. Usually when you have a guy that's been playing there for a long time, he doesn't want to do certain things or listen to certain people, but when you have somebody that's just starting out, he's going to listen to everything that you have to say. And I think he does a really good job of that.
When you're preparing for a guy like Francois, what challenges does he bring as a quarterback, and does practicing against a guy like Jalen kind of prepare you a little better for that?
Oh yeah, yes. I think you compare the two quarterbacks, Jalen and DeAndre, and the way they play. They're both real versatile. They both throw similar. They both started off young guys, had to lead great teams, and you know they both like to run the ball a whole lot. So I think practicing against Jalen all summer kind of gave us a real good look at a quarterback like DeAndre.
You and your family dealt with a hurricane and everything that came with that. How have you been able to kind of, you know, connect with some of your teammates like Jalen and guys from the Houston area and what they're going through?
You know, when I heard it was going to be hitting that Houston area, I got a couple teammates, Tony Brown, his family's down there. I asked him, making sure his family was okay, his house was okay, and he said they're looking to evacuate or making sure that everything's all right, but right now they're okay, and you know, just got to keep talking to them, making sure everything's all right, because I know how it is, and I know how fast it can happen, and so you just got to make sure that they're all right, and if something does happen, you just got to keep them up, hold them up, and make sure that they're doing all right, and just keep praying for them.
Mika, these types of huge games, you know, like you guys are going to play this Saturday, I know that they're pretty par for the course here at Alabama, but when you first get here, I'm sure the first one or two has to be a little bit, you know, overwhelming to a degree. At what point do these types of environments start to feel normal?
Honestly, after my first game here, after Wisconsin, I kind of set the standard for the Alabama football games. It was they're like number 9, we were number 1, something like that, and we were playing in Dallas Cowboys Stadium. And I remember I ran out there and I seen all the people and all the fans, and I was like, wow, like this is crazy. I'm playing for University of Alabama, and pretty much every game after that, it was the same thing over and over again. And I was just every time it was like a dream, you know. And still to this day, like when I run out there in Atlanta, we feeling the same way, like a little 12-year-old kid, just stuff you dream about.
When you got a quarterback like Francois, who has proven he can take a hit and still deliver the ball effectively, does that change a defender's approach at all when you're rushing him?
I mean, I think we've got a good quarterback in Jalen Hurts, and like both of them are mobile quarterbacks. So we've been trying to practice staying in our rushing lanes and just getting after them as a whole.
Obviously, you guys are kind of used to these big season openers against big teams. Coach kind of referenced how one of the benefits of it is it improves your off-season workouts because you guys all know what's coming for you in week 1.
Yeah.
Do you see that having an effect, kind of even going back to summer and then fall camp?
It's always exciting to open up the game, and with the competition that we're opening up with, it's going to be a good test to see where we're at as a team, and we're going to be able to just see all the work we put in and see that it's been working out.
Do you think that really has an impact on the young guys who it's kind of the first time they're going through it and there's just that heightened sense of urgency getting ready for a game like that?
I think all the young guys around here are anxious to play because we've been beating up on each other a lot here lately, so it'll be a good test for them.
Ryan, you've always been one of the biggest guys on any team that you've ever played for. But can you talk about how you've changed physically? Because, I mean, you look really, really good. Not that you weren't earlier, but you know what I'm saying. You look cut more and stuff. Just talk about where you are and how this has changed over your times here on the campus.
Coach Cochran and the nutrition staff, they made a weight for me, and I try to stay within that weight and just cut back on a lot of stuff and then get a little extra cardio in. And Coach Saban always tells me that he think it'll help all phases of my game, so I've just been trying to abide by that.
How do you keep your weight in check then? People who want to diet want to know what you're eating.
Around here, they keep a lot of like Gatorades and stuff here, so just got to cut back the Gatorades and drink more water and try to cut back on the bread and stuff.
What have you seen from Florida State's offensive line?
They're a big group of guys. They move really well. And our defensive line, we've been trying to watch a lot of film on them and just get ready for them and bring the same relentless attitude Saturday.
It's tough. It's heartbreaking. It hurts, and it's been on my mind. But all we can do is stay strong. As a proud Houstonian, stay strong and keep all my family back home, all my friends, and all the citizens of Houston in my prayers.
Does it give you some peace of mind when you just see how that community is all rallying around and helping each other out?
Yes, and I think that's what Houston stands for: strong people, togetherness, and one big family. So I think everybody back home is all there for each other, and I hope it remains that way. And I hope everybody's just okay and safe and helping each other out.
Is it difficult to prepare for something like a football game when you got this constantly on the back of your mind of your family and friends and everyone back home?
No, I mean, my family back home, they want me to focus and they want me to, lock into what I need to do this week. But they're going to be on my mind for sure, and they're going to be in my prayers. They are in my prayers. All my friends and family back home, but in the day we have a game Saturday and we need to be ready to play.
How have you changed in a calendar year as a football player now going into the opener for the second?
Same guy, just a little bit more mature, experienced, and I think that goes a long way. And I guess we'll see how different I am on Saturday.
What have you seen from Florida State's defense?
And they're fast, physical, lengthy, a lot of range, and just an overall good defense. And we're up for a challenge. I say that we're up for a challenge. Really good team.
When you're going up against a guy like Derwin James in the secondary who didn't play much last year, so you don't have a lot of film on him, how do you prepare for someone like that who could potentially be a game-changing impact in the secondary?
I think we just have to kind of focus on execution, trust the fundamentals of the offense, fundamentals of the scheme, and trust in the play calling and just execute. And I think it comes down to execution. Who's going to execute the best?
Jalen, you played in Atlanta before, but new opportunity in a brand new stadium. Talk about looking forward to that opportunity and playing that new play.
It'll be fun. A nice venue. Dallas was nice. It's always nice to play in the Georgia Dome. Very historic place, but we're looking forward to it.
Jay, from spring to now, as far as the offense and you reacting as opposed to thinking more and everything, where are you on that? You know what I mean?
I mean, we have to be ready now. And I think we're really comfortable with what we're doing as a team, as an offensive unit, and I think we'll be ready to play.
Jalen, what have you seen from the younger wide receivers?
They all have some ability. I think it'll be interesting to see who steps up and makes plays for us this year. But I think they all have ability, and I'm confident in all the receivers we have in the receiving corps.
Thanks, Jalen. Thank you.
Sean, you guys have played in obviously these big openers before. Coach kind of talked about how the good thing about them is it motivates you guys during off-season workouts and going back to summer. Do you feel like that's been the case? Knowing who you're going to face week one has helped you guys prepare throughout even the summer and fall game?
Oh yeah, I mean, it definitely helps. I mean, when you know you're playing against a really good team with really great players, I mean, it's definitely in the back of your mind, whenever you come out and it's a really, really hot day at practice or whatever. I mean, just think about the team down there in Tallahassee is practicing in the same exact environment. So, I'm pretty sure they're getting better. So, definitely helps our mindset.
Sean, Coach Saban always talks about how affecting the quarterback is more important than sacking the quarterback. When you you've got a guy like DeAndre Francois who's proven he can stand in there, take a hit, still deliver the ball. How does that change your approach?
Well, I mean, we're just gonna have to, keep on, trying to get to him, for 4 quarters. He's a guy. He doesn't get rattled, no matter what the circumstances are. I mean, we're just gonna have to, keep him in contain, not let him get away, things like that. But I know he's gonna be ready to play. He's a great competitor, great quarterback. So we've got our hands full.
How amped up are you? I mean, it's been a little bit of time since you've been playing against another team. How amped up are you for this game?
Well, I mean, it's crazy, but it didn't kick in that we played until like this past Saturday at practice. I was like, I took a knee at practice. I'm like, dang, we really played next Saturday. I mean, it's starting to kick in a little bit. Like, it's finally football season, so I'm pretty excited.
Where's this linebacker core at right now? You lost some big pieces last year. You do that all the time, though. But how good can this group be?
Well, we can be better than the group from last year. I mean, we got a lot of great talent, from young guys to older guys. So, I mean, we can be really good, but it's important that we come in, week out, and just continue to get better.
Last year, Ryan Anderson always said that he hated the other team. Is there a guy on this defense that continues that hate?
Well, it should be all 11 guys on the field, this year, rather than that one guy having that mentality. So, if all 11 guys have that mentality, we could be dangerous.
You guys play so many high-profile games, and we've talked to Minka and Bradley, and they both talked about how the first time they played in one of those when they get to Alabama, they're a little wide-eyed at it. Was it like that for you, and at what point did these huge games start to feel normal for you?
I'd probably say, my freshman year, I remember we played West Virginia. I was kind of in shell shock, like you expect. But, I mean, now you kind of settled in, played in the playoff game and stuff like that as a freshman. Now, it's like another game for real now. So, it's important that, we come out and, not get caught up in all the limelight and things like that. And, like Coach Saban always said, the field's 100 yards long and 53 yards wide. So, I mean, everybody just needs to come out and execute, do their job.
2 more. Anything else?
The new stadium, Mercedes-Benz. You said you kind of talked about the dimensions of the field, but obviously this is going to be a different look for you guys. Are you looking forward to playing in a stadium like that?
Oh yeah, I mean it's definitely exciting, to know that you're going to be, one of the first teams to play in a big new stadium. So I mean, it'd be important, that we focus on our job and not focus on all the features, that are being offered.
There's been so much talk about this running back group. I mean, when everyone's healthy, you guys can go 4 or 5 deep. From a defensive standpoint, when you have a team that has that many talented backs that they can keep rolling out, what does that do to a defense?
It gets you yelled at practice because, I mean, when they're rolling in a fresh back, after 3-4 plays, every time you turn around, we're tired, but they're coming in fresh, So it definitely helps out a lot, but I mean, kind of sucks at practice.
Thanks, Sean.